Hey guys, David Spade. Hold for applause. 1, 2, 3.
How long do you think it's going to be before I can wear this and it's like cute and nostalgic? Like a year? How are y'all doing? I pull a Steve from Blue's Clues and I just keep, this whole video is me going. Anyway, the reason that we are here today is because David Spade hates me. I know. That's shocking. Guys, he told me to grow up in a DM, and I'm gonna explain how we got here and all of the research that I've done to prove to you what I've known all along, which is that he's hated me since the moment I was born. Me, an innocent child. What kind of man hates an infant? This man. Do you think I want Emperor Cusco to hate me? No, of course not, okay? But because he has disliked me since the moment I was born, this man thinks that he can tell me what to do. David Spade has a podcast with national treasure Dana Carvey called Superfly. It's pretty good. They have lots of really cool guests. It's basically like all riffing, so it's a lot of fun to listen to. Highly recommend that you check it out. Only for Dana, though, because Emperor Cusco wants to be mean to me. One day I'm scrolling on Instagram and I come across a clip of both of them discussing these conjoined twins, and they're making jokes.
I actually like the taller one. They have 3 vaginas. That doesn't make any sense, does it? You think they'd have one or two?
Well, once nature gets a little distorted, it'll start just,
it's
playing with the recipe.
It's
Waist
extra.
down, they share everything. Only one set of everything, waist down.
So if they have diarrhea...
But when the husband marries, who does he pick? The other one feels like an asshole. He's like, well, it's like The Bachelor. Who gets the final rose? Gives it to one, the tall one, probably. And then the other one is like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and watch you bone my sister.
So one is got a husband and they're making out and having sex.
Yeah.
And the other one is just there for the party.
And he's like, you can bring your ugly sister. She's like, well, we're twins. That's a little rude.
I then decide to comment and say this, okay? I may or may not have been like in a mood that day. Sorry. In retrospect, would I have like commented that on a day where I'm like, I don't care, like moving on? Probably not. But I was in a bad mood that day, so I commented. What I didn't know is that David Spade was going to comment back and say, great lesson. Why are they so beneath you? So naturally, me being in a bad mood, I'm like, okay, David Spade. So I comment, they're not beneath me. They're beneath you guys. The celebrities talking about their vaginas. I'm not here to hate on y'all, but it's just something to remember. You know, I'm really saving the world out here with this one. Okay. It was really necessary for me to comment that. Naturally, somebody responds to me saying, punching down is hilarious. Learn to take a joke. I'm blown away. You're trying to tell David Spade, a legend, what to do in the comedy world and everywhere. First of all, Cheetos and vodka. I have never learned how to take a joke, and I'm not going to start now. Okay? So I send these screenshots to family members, and I'm like laughing because I had a little tiff with Dickie Roberts. Like, the concept is funny, right? But then a couple of days later, he posts his upcoming tour dates. Do you notice anything on there? This man said, I'm not going to Texas. He said, fuck you, Lauren. You're going to comment some shit? Then I'm not coming to Texas. Wow, you're going to punish everyone? I live in Texas. Like, maybe I wanted to go to your show, okay? Mind you, this was before the election, and this was when I thought we would be voting out Ted Cruz. So, you know, if this had happened now, I would be like, bet, like, we don't deserve any shows. But at the time, I had some hope. So, but I'm like, really? You're going to punish everyone because I was in a mood? Like, okay. So then I tried to clear the air with David Spade because I'm like, there's no need to punish everyone. So I comment on one of his posts, David Spade, are you still mad at me? No response. Would you believe that? He's ignoring me, clearly, right? So I'm like, he can't hate me this much because of one comment. Really? So I start researching. I start looking into it because I'm like, this is just wild. And I start noticing like some common themes of me posting something and then him reacting on his Instagram feed. And like, I know this might sound far-fetched, but like, let me show you the findings and then you guys can be the judge. Okay? So on June 24th, 2015, I fulfilled a lifelong dream and I went to a Don Rickles and Regis Philbin show where they basically just told jokes and had conversation on stage. And it was a great time and I'll never forget it. And, you know, I posted it because I was proud of that. On that same day, at that same time, David Spade was at his Joe Dirt 2 premiere in LA. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, is he mad that I was at the Don Rickles show and not his stupid premiere? Surely not, right? Like even earlier that year, he had posted a picture of him with Don Rickles, like literally like 4 months prior. So even if my theory was true that he was mad at me for that, that wouldn't make sense because he, of all people, would understand why I had to go to the Don Rickles show versus his premiere. And even then, it's like, I never got an invite to that. Why would I, right? None of that makes sense. But then on September 23rd of 2019, I went to a Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden show where Curtis Connor was the opener. It was a great time. My ex-husband embarrassed me by talking during the show. That's another story for another day. But on that same day was the premiere of Season 1, Episode 28 of Lights Out with David Spade, a show that he had on Netflix at the time. So I'm like, this is 2 instances where I was supporting other comedians and not him. Maybe that is the reason why he hates me. Like, maybe that is it. I've convinced myself, like, Lauren, you're being crazy. Like, none of that makes sense. Why does he care about you at all? Right? But then I noticed for years, like if I posted something, the next day he would post something. It started off innocent. Like in October of 2014, I posted a picture of some comedians that I admired doing stand-up. And the next day, he posted a picture of a cat getting paid for doing stand-up. Something like that. I'll have it on the screen. And then the following year, I posted a picture that I had 2 VHS copies of The Wedding Singer. And the next day, he announces his new book, Almost Interesting. Okay, it's almost interesting that you seem to not be okay with me supporting other comedians. Like, there's a reoccurring theme here, right? I wish that it stopped there, but unfortunately, Dickie Roberts got a little bit more aggressive. On February 10th, 2015, I posted a picture of Steve Martin. And the next day, he posted a murder picture that says, "You're next." Guys, does David Spade want to kill me? Like, now I'm afraid for my safety. And then later that year, when I went to the Book of Mormon and posted a picture of it, and the next day, he posts a picture referring to STDs and being slutty. First of all, rude. How dare you? So I'm like, okay, with all of this, clearly something is going on. And I can't put 2 and 2 together of like, how does he know about me? I'm looking for anything, right? Like there is no scientific method here anymore. So I start like looking up bad stuff that's happened in his life to see like, is there any correlation of like, did I do something? Was this like a butterfly effect kind of thing? Did I cause something bad to happen in his life, right? And when I'm looking at this, I see that there were articles that came out on my 8th birthday in 2001. Sadly, he had been attacked by a friend and an employee of his. And on my birthday, articles were coming out about this friend pleading innocent to the charges. I knew that that wasn't it because David Spade had come out and basically had been really empathetic towards his friend and didn't hold it against him that he was attacked. I start looking up like things that happened on the day I was born, you know, before and after I was born. Like I was looking for anything, right? I was trying to connect dots. I couldn't figure it out until I did. David Spade was born on July 22nd, 1964. Do you know what happened 6 months later, on David Spade's half birthday, Winston Churchill passes away, January 24th, 1965. Boom. It was his half birthday. His parents were glued to the TV because they were big fans. Instead of celebrating their baby boy's half birthday, they were glued to the TV. They're mourning the Prime Minister of England. This man was revered. Like, he was a prominent figure. I don't really know anything about him except that he led during World War II. So, like, good on you, Winston Churchill. Listen, I'm not a Winston Churchill stan, okay? David Spade's parents are, clearly. And if you're like, no, Lauren, like, that doesn't even make sense, like, then tell me why on July 23rd of 2014, David Spade posts that he has beef with Prince George. Is that his name? Which shows that he pays attention to the leaders in England, okay? But also that he has a thing for having beef with people and their birthdays. Boom. Oh, you're still not convinced? Okay, I have a smoking gun. Would you like to hear it? My birthday is January 24th, 1993. It was a Sunday. The birds were chirping, I think. And when my mom went into labor, I caused everybody to leave the Sunday night service, which is kind of funny in retrospect. That was a Sunday evening that I was born. That following Saturday, there was no SNL episode. The following Saturday after that was Dana Carvey's last episode of Saturday Night Live. He couldn't compete. I looked just like George H.W. Bush and the Impressions Master. Like, he couldn't top what I was able to do just by looks alone. You wouldn't believe this now, but dude, as a little baby, I looked like a Bush. Yep, I did. I looked so much like George H.W. Bush. Dana Carvey knew his career was over. So I was born. David Spade, who's been obsessed with January 24th since his parents ignored him on his half birthday, finds out who was born on January 24th, sees a picture of me somehow, and told Dana Carvey, like, dude, it's over. Dana Carvey, the following episode, it's his last show. And that's why David Spade hates me. And I'm sure you're thinking right now, like, that's so crazy. Like, you're so crazy, Lauren. Like, how do you even, like, connect to these things? Like, I know it is crazy. It's fucking crazy, dude. So anyway, I'm now mad because I'm like, so you're going to hold Winston Churchill dying against me? You're going to hold me just happening to be born looking like our former president and coincidentally ending Dana Carvey's career? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I had no choice in that. So I'm like, okay, if Emperor Cusco is going to hold it against me, then I'm going to hold things against him. Naturally, I'm looking at his profile, looking for anything to, criticize him for. And I'm like, hey, dude, you haven't posted about the election. But like, wow, you haven't posted about the election and you're a celebrity? Like, how dare you? I was looking for anything. And then messages me to grow up. I swear, when he sent those words, my Live from New York tattoo on my leg started burning. Okay? Am I calling him Voldemort? Maybe. No, if I'm gonna get sued for that. But like, maybe. And because he told me to grow up, I'm making this video now. Exposing him for the petty bitch he is. Sorry I called you a bitch, but for the petty man he is. Anyway, if any celebrities hate you guys for being born on the day that you were born and always seems to one-up you for no reason, like, leave it in the comments below, man. I would like to know that I'm not alone. And David Spade, like, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was born. You think I want to be here? I kind of do, but... And I encourage all of you to check out the Superfly podcast. I feel guilty. I ruined Dana Carvey's SNL career, but I can, give some love to his podcast. And David Spade, you grow up. How about that? Bye, guys.
Next time I'll do jokes. Bye-bye.